Hi, weirdos. Welcome to Keep It Weird, the podcast for all things strange and unusual, spooky and scary, creepy and crawly, and everything in between. Every time we get together, we talk about something weird. And this week is certainly no exception. There are only 84 days till Halloween, but that's just too long to wait. So today we're carving some faces into our watermelons and getting out our black lace parasols for a very spooky, ghost story-filled summer Halloween special. It's not quite a listener ghost stories, although we do have a few of those as well, but it is the perfect episode to crank the AC, crawl under a blanket with a big bucket of candy, and just pretend that the leaves are falling and it's spooky season before we all lose our goddamn minds in this summer heat. I'm hanging on by a thread.
Hot. Really hot.
Get ready to get creeped out. My name is Ashley, and this is my ghost host with the most, Lauren.
Hi, weirdos. I love a listener ghost stories kind of
Love
episode.
to get creeped out.
I loved the sort of, because that is
Sort
true.
of.
Like I have some stories.
There's gonna be a lot of ghost stories in this episode.
You have some ghosty essence. It's gonna be the best.
It's gonna be great. I just, right before I came in here to record with you, watched the first episode of, have you been watching Trainwreck on Netflix?
Which one?
Right? So I have to recommend the series for anyone who is really into like true crime docs, but like you kind of get burnt out on the murder aspect of it. Trainwreck on Netflix is awesome. I feel like every episode has been so interesting, and we just watched part 1 of the Storm Area 51.
Okay, I'm very excited to watch that one. I have not yet. I must be honest. I was raising my hand to say, please tell me you watched the PI Wives.
Oh yeah, I watched PI Wives.
I didn't know that was ever a show idea.
No.
So that it combined everything that I love.
That could have been such a great TV show.
Mystery, twists and turns, but also like my love for reality. It was just like everything that I loved was in one, but like it was so sabotaged, and there was like I won't even say, there was something going on under the surface.
The twists and turns in that episode were fantastic.
And there were many more than I was ready for. But I think I've watched like 3. I'm trying to remember what the other ones are. You'd probably have to say the titles.
I think I've watched all of them except for Joe's not interested in watching the American Apparel. Is it American Apparel?
I haven't watched that one either because I was the same. I was sort of like, I don't.
Yeah, that seems like a documentary about a creep, but we'll see. I'll get to it eventually. I did watch Balloon Boy, which was fascinating.
Yes. Okay. I was trying to remember. That was wild.
Because I remember it happening, but I didn't know any of the details.
Same. That was very good.
What else is there? There's that Canadian mayor who did crack.
I know which one you mean.
It was really good.
But I have not watched that one yet.
It was a really good episode.
I kept seeing the trailer where he was like, I don't do crack.
I don't smoke crack. And then he like absolutely smoked crack on camera.
So yeah, I've maybe watched 3 or 4. I'm trying to remember, but definitely Balloon.
Oh, obviously the concert.
Yes. Which was hard.
Yeah. Astro World Tragedy was the one. That one was crazy.
That was very difficult to watch.
Also, The Real Project X, that one was crazy.
I can't wait to watch that, and I haven't yet because do you remember we had so many friends who were extras on that?
Yeah, on the movie.
Yes, on the movie, which like I know was fake, but it was like I just remember that being such a thing. Tyler Schulke, friend of the show.
Well, it's so funny because I thought that The Real Project X would be what the movie was based off of, but really it's something that's based off the movie.
Wait, what?
The movie came out first. What the Trainwreck documentary is about is a party that happened, a real life thing that happened. It happened after the movie, though, that everyone was calling a real life Project X because essentially this random girl, small town girl made a Facebook invite for her birthday party and didn't make it private.
Mm-hmm.
It was a public invite, and eventually, like, literally thousands and thousands of people said they were coming to this party. And she would, like, delete the invite, and someone would just, like, remake the invite.
Oh, this poor
and
girl.
essentially, thousands of people showed up on this small town street, and it was a disaster. There's a reason the show is called Trainwreck. It's really good, though. It will scratch your true crime itch without you having to hear about murder and rape.
Ashley put it so well. It's like scratching that itch of true crime, but like the stories are unexpected. Like it's not what you would usually think of when you think of true crime, but it has that same like, ooh, twisty turny, who's the bad guy, where am I? It's so great.
Who am I rooting for?
Anyway, watch it, enjoy it.
Yeah. Real quick before we get to any of the fun stuff, we are, after this episode, we're going to be taking a little break. I don't know how long it's going to be. As most of you know, if you're caught up on the show, I've been having some health issues this year.
Oh, poor Ashley. She's struggling.
My left ear's become pretty unusable, and now it's starting to affect my jaw. It's making it kind of hard to podcast because I can't hear out of one ear, and now I'm starting to slur my words. So, obviously a problem, not super awesome for an audio medium. The day this episode comes out, actually, August 8th, is the day of my MRI.
So everyone send the best thoughts, all the healing vibes, all the good wishes, manifestations, get your crystals out, do whatever you need to do. Send all the love to Ashley.
Send all the good vibes to me, please. I'm hoping that at least tells me what's going on, because so far ENTs haven't been able to tell me, CAT scans haven't been able to tell me.
Which is wild, but...
Which is insane. But now we're doing an MRI of pretty much like everything above my nipples. So it's like something has to...
That's gonna tell you.
Something has to show up on this fucking thing or I'm gonna go crazy. But I'm seeing a neurologist and hopefully he helps and we can figure out some kind of treatment. So I really hope to be back before the end of August.
So probably just a couple weeks off is the goal. But yeah, just bear with us.
Depends on my diagnosis and, you know, if I actually get one this time and the treatment for it. So I'm going to keep you guys in the loop. Just follow us on Keep It Weirdcast on like Instagram, and we have a TikTok, Keep It Weird Podcast, and join our Patreon. I'll keep you guys updated on Patreon as well at patreon.com/Keep It Weird Podcast. And just FYI, if anyone's like, bah, no new episodes, ton of bonus episodes on the Patreon.
That's a reason to join.
Joe's been on several times this year. He's so funny. Also, I, this past month, had so many guest spots on some really good podcasts.
Ashley was on every podcast that's ever existed, truly.
I went on every podcast for some reason. But I went on Movies That Made Us Gay. I talked about I Still Know What You Did Last Summer and the brand new I Know What You Did Last Summer. Have you seen it?
No, I still haven't yet.
Girl.
I know. I like cannot wait to see it, to talk to you about it.
I loved it. Here's the thing. I hated it. I walked out of that theater and I was like, this is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. The more I think about it, though, I think I love it.
But I get that, though. Love
I also went on Bloody Disgusting's The Lady Killers podcast twice. I talked about The Innkeepers, and I got to talk about Ex Machina, which is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Same. Like, it's not even just in, like, horror thriller genre. It's just, like, a top movie.
Yeah, really great. Yeah, I talked about that too, actually. Ex Machina was the first time I noticed A24.
Dang.
Like, A24 had some movies that came out, like I think Spring Breakers and The Bling Ring and some things before that were A24. But Ex Machina was the one that I was like, who made this?
Who are you?
Okay. And today A24 is enormous. I'm also on a ton of Bloody Disgusting's Losers Club, a Stephen King podcast as well. We just covered the new series on MGM Plus, The Institute. Highly recommend.
Okay.
I think Prime is airing it too, because who has MGM Plus? No one. But it's called The Institute. It's based on a Stephen King novel of the same name. Really good. And this summer we're recovering The Stand. So if that's one of your favorite Stephen King books, tune into that. Maybe skip my episode because it's not fucking one of mine. And I am rereading it right now, listening to it. It is 44 hours long and I'm going crazy.
44 hours? That's a lot of hours. That is.
Yeah, and I'm only halfway through it. I'm not gonna fucking make it. But anyways,
before we continue on, my one old business moment, and it's not even really old business, but I just wanted to say, since we just did our witchy weather forecast episode, I just wanted to say a huge thank you to everybody who wrote in for that, because that felt like such a special episode. And we have had a little bit of follow up once the episode was released of people saying like, thank you for your readings. I connected with this, or, you know, like this was something special to me. This gave me new perspective on certain things. And it was just such a wonderful, unique, beautiful experience. And Ashley and I have said this many times before. We're like, please write in. We love doing readings. We love the divination episodes. So like, keep it coming. But this episode proved it even more. And so I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who wrote in. I hope you enjoyed your readings. And thank you to those who have followed up. And if you have not, please write in and ask us additional questions. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, if you haven't watched it yet, I know a lot of people haven't. It's a new segment on our show. Like, it's a new segment on our YouTube. Forecast. So I understand. It's Witchy Weather Forecast. It's our divination episode. It's all a bunch of listener tarot card readings. And it's really entertaining because you and Laura are really fun to listen to. So there.
Well, thank you.
So anyways, there's a ton of content all over the place. YouTube, Patreon, other people's podcasts. Like, you have plenty. We'll be back as soon as we can. Lauren, tell me a ghost story, or, you know, a scary story.
So my first story, this person wanted to be left anonymous, but I texted Ashley. We are usually DM'd, emailed stories, or we connect with people on Reddit or whatever it is. This was a person I met face to face, which was very special to me.
IRL, can you fucking believe it? In 2025.
IRL. I know, I'm like, I hate speaking to people. So this was wild. But no, it was at a kid's birthday party.
I haven't met a new person in years.
I met a person IRL, and it was at a kid's birthday party, which makes it even better. But we sat down and like, so we funny. Always make jokes and we post these memes on our Instagram of like, this is me at a party and it's us talking about like ghosts and aliens. And so obviously I showed my true self to this person on a bench while eating a PB&J, and they luckily like took the bait and were like, I've had a weird experience. So it was pure gold. And then I said, please email me immediately. So they wanted to remain anonymous. They are an LA parent now, but they are from Texas originally. So,
love it.
They say, I've only told this story a few times because honestly, I still do not know what to make of what happened to me. This happened in 2012. I was working pipeline inspection out near Fort Stockton, again, Texas. A lot of open land, dirt roads, no lights for miles, and I was used to just being alone out there, and I actually kind of liked it. But one night, I finished a job later than usual, and I had to drive back to the main road from a work site about 12 miles deep into nowhere. It was around 9:30 p.m., dark, moonless, but I had my truck's lights to light up everything ahead of me. I was on gravel maintenance road. I had taken it a dozen times. But this time, something was different. After a few minutes, I noticed the dirt on the road ahead wasn't normal. It wasn't the usual. It was red, like bright, unnatural red, not like the red dirt that we can see in the desert sometimes. It was sort of close to the color of rust, but it had a glowing feature to it that, especially under my headlights, really stood out. I figured it might have just been iron-rich clay, and I tried to brush it off, but I had really never seen it there before, even in a rust-colored way. It was always just plain gravel, so this really stood out. I drove onto it anyway, and that's when I noticed silence. No wind, no tire noise. My truck was running, I was moving, but it was like the world around me had been put on mute. Everything was silent. There was a silent buzzing in my ear. The red road stretched perfectly straight. The landscape on either side looked off, like it was repeating. I was seeing the same cactus over and over, the same fence post, the same little rock cluster, every 50 feet over and over. And I drove for what felt like 10 or 15 minutes before I realized I hadn't hit the turnoff back to the main road, and I absolutely should have by now, because again, I know these roads so well. And then my headlights suddenly flickered on and off for about 5 to 7 seconds. And then everything was back to normal. They came back on at their full strength, and then I saw the dirt road at its normal color, my noisy engine, I saw stars above, I heard the sounds of nature, so I slammed on my brakes because I was confused, I was freaked out, I didn't know what was going on. And then I checked my phone. No signal. That's not totally unusual. I'm in the middle of nowhere. What was unusual was that the time was 11:42 p.m. and I had left the site at 9:30 p.m. and that drive should have taken me 20 minutes max. I lost over 2 hours.
Oh my God.
No memory, just that weird red mile of silence that I could not explain. I get back to the yard the next morning. I check the work truck's GPS log, and it recorded me stopped on that road for 1 hour and 53 minutes. Totally stationary. But I swear to you, I never stopped driving. And the part that really messes with me is I went back a few days later in total daylight, and I had one of my buddies in the truck, and there was no red soil, none at all. We walked the whole stretch of the road, not a single patch of even rusty earth. I don't know what I drove through that night. Was it a glitch? Was it a loop? Was it an abduction? All I know is something took those 2 hours from me, and I feel like it's something that never wants to be found.
Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, you flew into another dimension.
You were fully in another dimension. I know. And he was telling me this at the birthday party as I was like, my face was like melting off of me.
Yeah,
I was like eating
running.
like the kids' snacks, like, tell me everything. And I was like, you have to type this up and email it to.
Two options. You drove into another dimension or you got abducted.
The lost time.
There's no other option. Those are the two things that may have happened.
I know.
I won't even consider.
No, there's no other option.
A mental break of any kind. Will not consider it.
No, I don't. I do not think it was, especially like after I talked to this person in person, IRL, and I'm like, I do not think, and not that
a stranger online.
Like, obviously somebody can have a facade and still be mentally ill.
You can have a seizure, you know, it doesn't have to be like a psychotic break.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't think it was a psychotic break, so I guess we can rule that out. He was just so like calm. Like, that's what was funny about it, is I'm like bringing up all my stupid things of like, have you ever lost time, aliens? And then he went on with the story and was like, oh, you really like brought it. Okay. But he was so calm, cool, and collected, and like had a level head about it of like, I don't know what happened to me. He's like, I'm open to every answer though.
Yeah, these are the details that I have.
He was just so cool, calm, and collected, but absolutely could have had a seizure. Like, we can talk logistics. Like, there could be a logical reason.
We're not going to, though. He probably got abducted.
I think it was aliens, 1000%. Because why the red soil?
Why the red soil? I lost, what, like 12 minutes, 10 minutes?
I was going to say, you had the lost time. I'll never forget it as long as I live.
And I'll never forget that. And that was 10 minutes.
I know.
And there was no red soil. And I didn't check any GPS I didn't even have something to confirm.
Yeah, it was like you weren't in a truck to check a log. But yeah, the red soil part is weird, I will say, because I'm like, your story connects to most, where it usually is just lost time and that feeling of like, I don't know where this time went, but like, what is the red soil about? Like, you didn't see anything when you had that lost time, or did you?
No, I didn't experience anything during the lost time. It was like it just wasn't there.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, horrific. What was happening to me in that 10 minutes?
I know. So that was fascinating. And I was like, how dare you just sit next to me on a bench at a crappy park at a birthday party and just spew this onto me
and just change my life.
So I made him type it up, and he did so great.
Yeah, great story. Thank you so much, Anonymous. That was awesome. And I don't know.
And also, yikes, bikes. Seriously. I do think something was in your truck with you doing something. Sorry about ya. So that was one. Okay, but then I will tell more of a ghost story.
Traditional.
And this is from listener Becca.
Hey, Becca.
Hey, girl. She emailed us, and I always like reading the beginning. Usually people are just so kind to us, and it just melts my heart.
But Becca said, I want you guys to go fuck yourselves.
No, hers is just like very short, but I still want to read it.
Absolutely.
We love you. We love every compliment.
Yes, we do.
Becca says, hi, weirdos. Thank you for your wonderfully weird show. I have been listening / binging over the last year and feel like y'all are my friends who will chat with me in the car every single day on my commute. Thank you so much.
Love that.
We love you, Becca. So, I'm from Spokane. Spokane has some strange shit going on. This is my story. This happened in 2019, just before COVID, when I moved into this weird little duplex on the north side of Spokane. I was fresh out of college, living alone for the first time, and the rent was dirt cheap, which I should have seen a red flag because of how cheap it was, so don't judge me, but...
Listen, I'm not passing up a deal. I get it.
Even in my response, I was like, girl, like, don't I get it? Anyway, she says, the place was mostly fine, except for this one thing. My sweet little cat, Waffles, which was like, here we go, his named Waffles. Waffles kept obsessing over this heating duct in the hallway. It was one, of course, right outside of my bedroom. He would sit in front of it and stare into it for hours. And not in a cute way, not in a fun little pet, cat, lovely way. In that weird, alert, ears back kind of way.
Oh boy.
At first, I figured maybe a mouse got into the ducts or something. I was really trying to rationalize, but then I started hearing whispers. Like actual whispers. And only at night, of course, when I'm the most terrified living alone. And it would only be from that vent or that area. I couldn't make out what was being said, but it was the rhythm of speech. That's the only way I can explain it. Sometimes it sounded like someone was having a one-sided conversation, and I even recorded it once, but when I played it back, it was static. I did not know what to do with that information, but I trudged on. So one night I'm lying in bed and I hear the whispering again, but this time it is a bit louder, and it feels a bit closer. And I swear to God, the whisper shifts, like it's crawling from the hallway vent now into the vent in my bedroom floor. I jump up, I turn on every light, and I blast the TV to drown it out. I'm laying under the covers, I'm plugging my ears, I don't know what else to do, I'm terrified. The next day, I call my landlord and I ask if maybe an animal could be in the system and if somebody could come out and look at it. He gets really quiet for a moment. It felt like forever. Maybe it was 5 seconds, but it felt like an eternity. And then as I'm about to chime back in, he clears his throat and says, "You are the third tenant in this building to ask that question."
Okay.
There was another long pause, and then I finally just had to say, "Okay, and so you must have looked into this then?" And he simply said that they had investigated and they weren't able to find anything. I believe him in a way because I don't know that I think it was an animal either, if I'm being honest with myself. But his reaction and long pause made me take pause, and I can't explain it other than I was just so freaked out by his reaction and what I had experienced as well. And I felt validated in a way to have my fear and feelings about this vent phenomenon because of how he reacted.
Yeah.
About a week and a half later, I finally just moved out. I was able to break my lease, and praise be, because I can't imagine being quarantined for COVID in that freaky place. I got out just in time. I got a new and normal studio apartment, and Waffles stopped staring at vents going forward. And I still, to this day, will not live anywhere with floor ducts. I have PTSD. Yikes.
I have floor ducts.
Sorry about that.
And I will tell you, here's the thing about floor ducts. If you're in certain rooms, like for example, if I'm in my bathroom and Joe is in the garage, I can hear him talking through the vent.
Totally. But she lives alone with a cat.
Yeah, I know.
It's that part.
But there were times before I figured out what it was. My office, for example, in my floor duct here, sometimes I can hear the baseball game that's going on like a mile down the road.
Wait, really?
Like I can hear the announcer.
I wonder where it's like connecting to.
I don't know, but there was a long time that I was like, I think someone's living in my crawl space and watching a baseball game, like watching a television, before I figured out what it was, because like how does it travel like that?
That's crazy it would travel that way.
It's clearly bouncing off of something in my neighborhood and like hitting the floor ducts in some way, but like it is scary when it happens. I can't imagine living alone and hearing it, and also it being whispers.
It's the whispers for me.
It's the whispers. Speak up, bitch.
Yeah, speak up. If you're gonna haunt me, like just come on out.
If you're gonna haunt me, use your voice, okay? Use your big
big
girl
kid
voice.
Excuse me. Yeah. It's the whispering. It's the like moving around.
Yeah, how dare you?
I did not like when she felt like she could feel the whispers like crawling to her. I was like, pardon, no. And it's also, as we have always said, young children and animals have that sensitivity to something being like amiss, off, whatever.
Yeah.
And so the fact that her cat's ears were like back, because like I could see a cat being curious about sounds from a vent. So again, if we're trying to like rationalize, because we always try to look at both sides. It's like if you were hearing something from like a neighbor down the street, hearing a baseball game, I still feel like a cat's curiosity would just kind of be like pawing at it and like, you know, like maybe their ears would go back.
No, they wouldn't. I have cats. Ears back is something is wrong.
That freaks me out. And then, yeah, the crawling. But also, even if it is a totally explainable thing, to live alone and have that happen, Becca, I am so sorry. That sucks. And I hate it. And I don't want it.
Woof. No, that's terrifying. I'm so glad you found a new place.
I know. And especially right before COVID, because she was like, I would have been truly,
yeah,
I would have been so locked in.
I mean, that's a horror movie.
Truly.
That's a horror movie that you could write and sell in Hollywood. Oh, Lord.
But I hate it. I hate it so much. And I hope that there wasn't a demon in your vents.
No, I will tell you, if a cat hears a bug or a mouse, their ears will actually get wider and their eyes will get wide as well because they're trying to listen.
Alert.
If ears are back, that means like I'm about to have to go into attack mode.
And it's that part, Ashley. What did you used to? I mean, they don't do that. What was this called? Remember in like 2020? People on TikTok?
Girl.
I don't know. It was
I don't think I was invited to that party.
Neither was I.
I don't think the kids taught me that one. Is that flossing?
No. Oh, Wilder can floss though. I'll give him that credit. Okay. Anyway, please tell us other things.
Thank you, Becca.
Thank you, Becca.
So my ghost story segment today is long, so I'm just gonna take 20 or 25 minutes of your time here. Last episode, we revisited this idea that we've had for many years, that the actual ground we stand on is potentially responsible for the, hauntings and strange occurrences that we experience, whether it's a ley line, a Schumann resonance, running water, or the rocks in the soil.
That was the most fun rabbit hole.
Something seems to be providing the power or the battery for the energy that's manifesting itself. So I wanted to explore more of these places in an overarching paranormal paradise. Today we're going to visit a vacation destination with an extremely rich history. One of my best friends, Stacy, just visited with her mom, and she sent me photos and stories about this place, and it fits so perfectly into the episode I was literally editing at the time she sent me it that I was like, oh, look, fun, synchronicity.
I love that, though.
What are we supposed to do with synchronicity, kids? Follow them.
Follow it.
Yes, children, follow the synchronicities.
Come, little children, I'll take the away. Yep.
My location today is Eureka Springs, Arkansas. Ever heard of it? Ever heard of it?
Arkansas. Ever heard of it?
Eureka Springs is in the Ozark Mountains. It's right near the border of Missouri. It's kind of right across the state line from Branson. Okay. So it's about an hour drive away from Branson. That would be a great little double city trip.
Branson's where you're going to see like all the performers. Like everyone will take the stage at Branson.
Catch the rolls, whatever you want to do in Branson. And then pop over to Eureka Springs, Arkansas.
Have a good trip.
See this beautiful place. It's an incredibly well-preserved 19th century town. Partially, that's due to the fact that the entire downtown area is on the National Register of Historic Places. So it's untouchable. We're keeping this place pristine.
We love a landmark.
It was built in the late 1800s, early 1900s. Old buildings. It's beautiful. And there are a ton of just beautiful Victorian buildings. And they're built into mountainsides. So, like, it's just all around you, just gorgeous, breathtaking.
I love.
It's surrounded by two big lakes, Beaver Lake and Table Rock Lake. It was also the very first city in Arkansas to issue marriage licenses to same-sex couples. So they have a really great LGBTQ community and a huge pride event every June.
Okay, Arkansas, let's go.
So overall, very cool place to visit. Everyone should check out Eureka Springs.
Yes, okay.
But that's not why we're here.
No.
We're here because it's also incredibly haunted.
Let's get spooky.
So haunted. And some folks would chalk that up to how old the buildings are, but not us. I think we are going to look at the location and find that it might be in the building materials themselves. So, all those beautiful Victorian buildings that you see in this city, they are all built with local stone. A lot of limestone, and actually they're built into limestone mountains, and the streets are paved with limestone. It's like a just Ghostbusters charged town.
Truly.
It's wild. It's all limestone. It's all local, old, ancient rock. There's also a ton of quartz crystal in this area too, a ton. And also, littered throughout the city are natural springs. There's over 60 of them that still exist. Natural spring water.
Ooh.
Natural springs are locations where groundwater naturally flows to the Earth's surface. Drinkable, clean, fresh water, which of course, back in the day, before we had Evian, was an incredible resource to have.
This was incredible. Yes, absolutely.
This was a great place, obviously, for like Native Indigenous peoples. This was a sacred place. You weren't allowed to fight any wars here or squabbles. This was a magical, protected, sacred place. People of numerous Native American cultures visited the springs because there were tales of them having healing powers. And they weren't the only ones. European Americans also believed the springs had healing powers. There was a doctor named Alva Jackson who located one of the major springs called Basin Spring and put it on the map. In 1856, he claimed the waters of Basin Spring had cured his eye ailments.
Okay.
During the Civil War, he even established a hospital inside a local cave and used the waters from Basin Spring to treat his patients.
Wow.
Magic water.
That is very interesting in that Basin Spring.
Basin Spring. In 1879, a man named Judge Saunders claimed that his crippling disease was cured by the spring waters as well, and they started promoting Eureka Springs for its healing properties and created a boom town. Like all of a sudden, people from all over the United States were coming to Arkansas. Okay?
Yeah, I can say.
Within a period of 1 year, the city expanded from a rural little spa village to a pretty major city at the time. And by 1880, it was incorporated as a city, and thousands of visitors came to the spring each year. And 2 years later, in 1882, they got a railroad.
Oh my god. If you get a railroad, you have made it.
If you get a fucking railroad in the 1880s.
In the 1880s, getting a railroad.
Talk about a glow up.
Glow up. Like, good for you. Arkansas.
Officially a major destination. Congratulations, Eureka Springs. Now, whether or not the springs can actually heal serious diseases, probably not.
Sure.
Probably they can't.
Most likely not.
If they could, they can't anymore, I'm gonna guess. But natural springs can seem to be supernatural because of all the natural minerals in them. There's silver, there's calcium, there's magnesium, there's silica. So yeah, sitting in the spring water could provide things like pain relief for people suffering from arthritis or fibromyalgia. That would actually offer you some pain relief. These in Eureka Springs are specifically cold springs, but I know in warm springs they're great for cardiovascular health. They can increase your blood flow, improve your circulation. The minerals in natural springs can help you improve skin conditions like psoriasis, eczema, and acne. And because of the high levels of magnesium, soaking in the springs can improve your sleep and even boost your immune system. So yeah, in the days before we had ibuprofen and Accutane and blood pressure medication.
Yes. Like you're getting like a cold plunge, you're getting the magnesium to help you sleep.
This is a miraculous source.
Also, magnesium is helping the gut. Like you get to sleep and heal your gut and then do a cold plunge. Like, okay, springs.
Yeah, so it's not a placebo effect. Like these things actually do improve things on people. So if you're in 1882 and that happens, you're probably like, holy shit, this water's magic.
What's going on? This water is perfect. Yeah, like this is everything I've ever needed.
But back to the ghosts and the ghouls.
Bring it.
Bring it. There are several haunted tours that you can take in Eureka Springs that take you to so many locations with strange occurrences, including an underground tour of the city, because every good creepy city has underground streets.
If you're going to be like a truly ghoulish city, like you better have an underground that I can go through.
Yeah, what's happening under the city? You know what I mean?
Come on.
Los Angeles, we have secret tunnels.
I mean, that's where the lizards are. Like, let's go.
St. Louis has caves.
Yeah, let's go.
The Basin Park Hotel, that's another place. It was constructed in 1905. And it was built on top of a location of an older hotel called the Perry House, which had burned to the ground in 1890. The Perry House was built by a man named Joseph Perry from Colorado, who built hotels like along the railroad from Colorado to Kansas City. Like he was a hotelier. That's what he did. And when he arrived in Eureka Springs, he was an invalid. He was barely able to walk or use his hands, a condition that he was told was incurable. What he actually had, medicine was not advanced enough, but he couldn't walk and he couldn't use his hands. He probably had like severe arthritis, but whatever. After several months in Eureka Springs, he felt that he was so quickly and perfectly cured of his suffering that he wanted to build the finest hotel of his life. And apparently he did, because it was known as the best house in the city. It was 4 stories high. It had 100 rooms for guests. But like I said, unfortunately, that house, the Perry House, burned down in 1890. But the Basin Park Hotel was built over that. And ever since it was built in 1905, tales of the paranormal have coursed through its halls. Mysterious recurring orbs that are seen with the naked eye, not just on photographs, that are seen with the naked eye on the guest floors. And get this, specifically in the wings of the hotel that share a wall with the limestone bluffs behind it.
It's the limestone.
It's all limestone.
It's the rocks. I felt like such a psycho on our last episode, just being like, and it's the crystals and rocks.
The rocks and the sun. It is. I really think it is.
Oh, that is fascinating. Okay, continue.
There are human-shaped shadows.
Oh, cool. That's fun.
There are large, creepy faces that appear on the inside of stained glass windows in the foyer. Yikes.
Love that you said foyer, because I'm still a trash person that says foyer.
Foyer. I feel like if it's in a house, like if it's in my house, I would be like, let's go into the foyer. But if we're in like a ballroom, I would say foyer.
I would never say foyer in a ballroom, mostly because of humiliation. I would just be like, let's go to the area by the door.
Yeah, the area by the door.
Anyway, that's a tangent. Write in, like and subscribe, and tell us if you like to say foyer.
Words I'm afraid to say out loud.
I can't.
But the haunted location that takes the cake in Eureka Springs is the Crescent Hotel.
That just feels right, too, with that title.
Crescent. Also known as America's most haunted hotel, which here's the thing. How many of those are there?
Thousands.
But, hey, listen, after I get through this, we have a contender. This might be the most haunted hotel. The Crescent Hotel was built in 1886, and its scary history started before it even officially opened.
What?
After the skeleton frame of the hotel had been constructed and they were beginning to lay all the stone, you know, the local creepy limestone.
'Twas the limestone.
One of the Irish stonemasons working on the hotel fell to his death.
Of course he did.
In what is now room 218, known as the most spiritually active room in the hotel. Throughout the history of the hotel, employees have referred to this entity as Michael, and they believe he's somewhat of a poltergeist due to the nature of the unexplained activity that surrounds him in room 218. Guests have witnessed hands coming out of the bathroom mirror.
That's the worst thing anyone's ever said to me. Ever. Hands?
I'll never forget that line.
Hands?
Hands coming out of the bathroom mirror.
So you're telling me I'm like doing my little makeup remover wipe and hands?
Mm-hmm. Hands?
Hands gonna come?
Hands?
They gonna come for me?
Hands.
I'm not going to sleep this evening, Ashley.
Hands.
Ashley Nicole Marie Lynn Cassidy. That's an inside joke from before.
Yeah, that's an inside joke that like
you guys don't get it, but like we're here for it. That's crazy.
Yeah, that makes me want to throw up. So hands coming out of the bathroom mirror, cries of what sounds like a falling man in the ceiling, and doors to and in their room slamming shut, unable to be opened again.
No.
Very, very, very active room.
No.
That's really only one of several very active areas of this hotel.
Oh, that is so cool.
That's just the hors d'oeuvres, okay?
Just a little appetizer. Okay, I can't.
It seems like a lot of ghosts may have been from those early days because many guests and employees have encountered spirits in Victorian dress. They see them in mirrors, again. They see them standing at the bar. They see them walking down the hallways. They've had interactions with people in Victorian dress. And this is like, you know, the hotel was built in 1905.
Right. This all makes sense.
That's what people were wearing when they came to this very fancy hotel.
And again, let's remind everyone, I mean, we can all have our theories on ghosts, whatever you want it to be. Mm-hmm. You could think it's a dead person, but this could very much be crossing timelines.
Absolutely. There are also spirits of young girls. And at first you're like, ah!
I know, like, no!
What do you mean? But it makes sense when you learn the history of the place. The original hotel didn't make it. It closed its doors literally in 1908. But it was reopened as the Crescent College and Conservatory for Young Women.
Oh boy.
It was one of the most exclusive boarding schools in Arkansas. As far as I know, there are no deaths recorded there during this time as a girls' school, but as Lauren was saying, ghosts don't equal dead people. So when you're saying like, well, nobody died here, it's like, well, no one died in my parents' house, and that place is fucked up, okay? So
there is a haunting
what do you want from
occurring.
me?
So it's like the haunting could just be, yeah, you're just experiencing somebody in a different plane.
My dad built that house. No one died there. No one barely lived there. So
True.
No one died there from the girls' school that we know of. Like, no recorded deaths. But I'll tell you who did die in the hotel.
Oh boy.
A lot of fucking people in the 30s, because this is where the story gets, like, crazy dark.
Oh no.
The hotel was in foreclosure when the college finally shut its doors in the mid-30s, and a doctor named Norman Baker moved in. The town wasn't doing well at the time either, obviously. Like, the Great Depression had just happened. Like, it wasn't a good time. Like, people weren't going on vacation to Eureka Springs. So, like, the town itself needed money put into it desperately. So when this doctor shows up in town, Norman Baker offers to buy the hotel, offers to, like, invest in the town. They welcomed him with open arms. And he turned the hotel into an experimental cancer hospital.
Experimental cancer hospital?
Mm-hmm. Baker's Cancer Curing Hospital is what he called it.
Oh, cancer curing.
Yes. He claimed that his facility could cure anyone's cancer in 6 weeks with no chemotherapy and no surgery. They would cure you using only the power of positive thinking, fresh mountain air, healing spring water, and an elixir of his own design that turned out was mostly alcohol and watermelon seeds. Because, oh yeah, he wasn't a licensed doctor at all. He was a con man.
What?
Yup.
I could have guessed that from cancer curing hospital, sir.
This guy, unbeknownst to the patients who came to see him, this was his third attempt at opening a cancer curing hospital. His prior 2 attempts ended in all of his patients dying because his cure was complete bullshit.
That's so weird. Oh.
But that didn't stop him from giving it another go. So he spent years tending to cancer patients who were slowly and often painfully dying under his care, while also charging them and their families their entire life savings. When his patients would die at the hospital, which happened often, he would hold their bodies in the morgue until the local undertaker could sneak them out under the veil of night, often using those underground city tunnels. All the while, Dr. Baker would send letters to the deceased families asking for more money so that the cancer cure could have more time to, quote, take hold, even though oftentimes their loved ones were already dead.
Jeez. It's very dark. That's very sad.
So dark, so sad. What a fucking monster.
Truly pure evil.
Authorities have only located 42 death certificates, including some of children. He would do this to children, but most people believe there's a lot more than 42 that died at the hotel under his watch, because they were only able to recover records from 1 out of the 5 mortuaries that were open during Baker's time. And of course, he had his assistants burn the hospital's records before he was arrested. So
that sounds about right.
There's almost no way to find out how many people died there.
Oof.
And he ended up only serving about 4 years, and he was fined like $4,000.
Sure. That's totally fine for everything that you did,
That's fine.
Evil piece of shit.
This is a kind of a recent thing. This is crazy. In 2019, the University of Arkansas began excavating a nearby area, and they found a secret dumping ground for Norman Baker's macabre business. They found surgical tools, small vials, and hundreds of bottles buried in the ground containing cured cancer tumors of his supposed success story patients.
A success story? Oh my god.
Well, I guess he would use these, like, bottles with, like, you know, formaldehyde or some shit in it with, like, literal human tissue inside and say, like, these are the cured cancer.
Hushaby, sir.
Yikes. They used to be on display at the hospital. They were also using ads for his business.
Oh my god. How dare you use it for marketing? How dare you?
How dare you? Yeah. So, It comes as no surprise that a lot of the paranormal experiences at the Crescent Hotel revolve around this disgusting, dark time of the building's history.
Yeah.
Hold on to your pants.
Hold on to your butts.
Dr. Baker himself has been seen in the hotel lobby. He's described as a man in either a purple shirt with a white linen suit or a white suit with a purple tie, which matches descriptions of him from back in the day.
Which that is a very specific vision. So I'm like, specific. If a few people have seen that, I would believe it. I'd be like, you saw purple? All right, then.
You saw the color purple?
Like, if somebody is wearing a purple shirt, I'm gonna go, hello?
I'm gonna... boing. So, guests have also witnessed this one... I don't like this one at all. Guests have also witnessed a nurse pushing a gurney down near the old morgue area, which is still there. They preserved it as a morgue. But there's also, it's like right next to like the laundry room for the hotel. But like the preserved morgue is still there.
No.
They've seen her a handful of times, but more often she's heard the squeaky wheels rattling down the halls.
But honestly, bitch is probably calling out for help with her squeaky wheels. She's like, y'all,
I need WD-40 stat. This is absurd. You ever go to the grocery store and you get like the cart that's like the most annoying cart you've ever heard?
Yes,
and the whole
feel like
time you're in the store, you're like, I'm sorry.
I know. I have the squeaky one.
When I did that Habitat for Humanity... When I did that Habitat for Humanity build, they gave me a paint roller. There were literally 10 people in there painting, and mine was like, and it was like, I just have to like be like, I'm so sorry, it's me, but I don't know what to do about it.
I know I'm the annoying one, but also like I'm trying to help these people paint their house and like help me.
Well, and I thought one of the like foremen would come over at some point and be like, have one that doesn't know. I just had the squeakiest.
And so everyone was just giving you the like
yeah. And I was like, I did not choose this. Please help. Anyways, like I said, the laundry room is located next to the old morgue, and there have been a ton of employees who have stories, including one maintenance man who witnessed all of the washers and dryers turn on by themselves in the middle of the night.
No.
This... Okay, never mind. I feel like I'm going to say this is the worst one, like 8 times.
Oh, because you keep having more. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm already upset. All right.
Because this one... I hate. The honeymoon suite of the hotel is located in an area that was once used as what Dr. Baker called the pain ward. This was an area of the hotel in which he boarded up the windows, installed steel doors with locks on the outside, and semi-soundproofed the walls so that patients of his that were in extreme pain could be put there to scream and yell and not disturb anyone else.
Woof.
He was basically locking these patients away to
just
scream in
pain.
agony. And you'd think that you'd move the honeymoon suite,
wouldn't ya?
Because apparently a lot of the newlyweds have trouble sleeping here. One employee of the hotel describes the ghost often seen in this area as a woman in some kind of nightgown, although most people assume it's a hospital gown, oftentimes standing at the foot of the beds, and many people believe her to be one of the cancer patients because she appears to not have a bottom jaw or a chin.
Well, so I just need to get this straight. So if you're trying to get it on with your husband or wife, your partner, in the honeymoon suite, you have to look at a jawless woman at the foot of your bed like, y'all having fun?
You guys having a good time? Yeah, well, she doesn't do anything or say anything. She just stands there. She has no jaw.
She doesn't have to, Ashley. If you don't have a jaw, you don't have to say a fucking word. You're going to ruin my life. Okay. Anyway, continue. I'm sorry. I'll never be over that for the rest of my life. I can't.
Well, now we're going to move on to Theodora.
I don't want to, but I don't want to, but I don't. Okay.
You're gonna like Theodora. So, housekeepers have reported meeting a woman named Theodora in room 419. She introduces herself. A couple times she's introduced herself as an assistant of Dr. Baker's, or sometimes she introduces herself as a nurse who's there. And then she vanishes right after introductions are exchanged. So she's not like a misty floating ghoul.
She's a person.
She's a solid lady. Guests who have stayed in that room have reported strange things happening with their items. In fact, it's rumored that Theodora tidies up sometimes after guests, so often that people staying in room 419 will conduct experiments, purposefully leaving small messes in hopes that Theodora will fold their clothes or rearrange their personal items.
Okay.
One couple purposefully scattered a handful of loose change around the room on tabletops and nightstands, and then they went for dinner downstairs, and when they returned, all of their coins were neatly organized in stacks of quarters, dimes, nickels, and pennies, and placed on top of their dresser.
That's insane. Wow. Okay.
The fourth floor as a whole, Theodora's floor, it was actually pretty active. Apparently Dr. Baker's living quarters was on that floor, so that could be why as well. It's so active, in fact, that guests, when they check in with pets, they try not to put them on the fourth floor because oftentimes dogs won't even go up there.
Dang, because they know.
Because they fucking know. I would say cats too, but I don't think a lot of people take cats to hotels. But
yeah, they're not traveling with cats.
Dogs won't get off the elevator on the fourth floor.
Ooh, okay.
Going back to Theodora really quickly, she isn't always a nice, tidy ghost. A lot of people have very negative interactions with her. A lot of the staff, especially the bartenders, because the Sky Bar shares a wall with what was supposedly her room, say that they can feel her angry presence.
She's ready to rage.
One couple was even chased by her, and I have their story.
Tell it right now, but I'm also so nervous, but I'm excited.
Reddit user Garbo17 tells this story. Garbo17 says, "This is an encounter my wife and I had at the 1886 Crescent Hotel in Eureka Springs. We'd gone on the ghost tour, which was okay, but you get to tour the hotel and see the old morgue where the doctor would keep the dead. My wife wanted to go back there, of fucking course, and when we got to the hallway, there was this very stern-looking lady with what may have been a clipboard halfway down the hall and blocking the wing. She was facing one of the guest rooms, but her head snapped our direction, and she looked mean as fuck. So we were like, cool, let's just leave. We don't need to piss anyone off today."
Don't.
He said, "I actually started taking off before my wife. I was immediately turned around and going the other way. And because my wife claims he saw that her head turned, but he didn't see her any after that. As soon as her head turned, he was like, pew, I'm gone.
Yeah, I'm out."
But his wife claims that when the woman snapped her head to them, her neck twisted at a strange, unnatural angle that creeped her out. The one thing that really stuck with me, though, was her posture. Straight as a ramrod. People they just don't look like that anymore. We have bad posture.
Yeah.
I would describe her as thin, very pale, wearing a long-sleeve white top tucked into a long black skirt, dark hair, and pinned up with a strict governess vibe. The fear I had was not for my life, but I'd been caught sneaking around by a principal. I felt like I had done something.
So she was being a true governess.
Truly. At that moment, we still thought it was just one of the staff in a pissy mood and not wanting us to look around the area, which honestly was odd for us because we're not the types to be easily dissuaded or intimidated by people. If we want to take a look at something and it's a public area,
hell yeah,
we're going to ignore them and carry on. It's not like we were in some place that was restricted. He said the energy was just so strong that it repelled me immediately. Not gonna bother. Given the major Get Out vibes and still thinking she was an alive person, we started towards the spiral staircase, and suddenly, blocking my way was a short woman with brown hair that was pinned up. I thought, whoa, that's rude. She just cut me off, appearing out of nowhere. Then she was gone, as if she stepped aside. She was so close, I could see the back of her head. He said, I truly believe this was the same woman we had just seen down the hall because of the distinct hairstyle. It was as if she teleported in front of me, just as I had turned away from her, and then stuttered almost like a glitch in a video game, and then disappeared.
Ooh.
We were otherwise alone in the hallway. We were not confusing multiple people. We were alone.
Oh my god.
So, we begin to descend the staircase when she was suddenly, again, behind us, and she was stomping down the stairs.
No.
These stairs weren't noisy when walking normally, but they shook and creaked under her stomps. And still thinking this was a real person, we literally moved aside so she could just pass us because it felt like she was rushing up behind us.
You'd be losing your mind.
Yeah, I'd be like, what is this? What is her problem?
What do you want? Like, go by. Get out of here.
We moved over to let her pass, and then she dissipated in front of our eyes. It felt like a whoosh, and then she was gone, and the energy was drained from our bodies. We were exhausted for the rest of the night. Upon reaching the bottom of the stairs and turning around, we realized that it was absolutely not actually a person with us that whole time, and that's when we were finally like, a ghost.
Oh my god. Stomping down the stairs after you when you were just like, there is for sure a person behind me, let me allow them to pass, and it's like somebody just...
Have you ever been halfway up or down a set of stairs when you got the feeling that something was behind you?
Yes, and then
absolute panic.
I panic and I start sprinting, and then I usually trip and fall, and like nothing goes, and I'm like, ah! And then nothing's behind me.
So imagine actually hearing something behind you.
But hearing it, but also seeing. In their case, it was like hearing and seeing as if she is there. So it's like the sensation. Like, you feel her, you hear her, you literally see her.
She's fucking there, dude.
She fucking vanishes. I'm very upset.
So, they finished the story just by saying, we were heading from the second floor to the first, by the way. So there's no way that this woman got off at an earlier floor. We definitely weren't alone on the stairs. I even saw the white of her neck and the brown hair that was all pinned up next to me. Like, I saw her.
She was there.
We walked right out of the hotel without stopping. We didn't even talk about it. We didn't poke around anymore. Again, very uncharacteristic of us. We're morbidly curious and contrarian. A rude woman could never chase us off like that. If this was a ghost, I believe it was that of a woman named Theodora. She was the head nurse at the hospital. No clue if she died at the hotel or not, but she's mostly known for hanging around her room on the 4th floor. But the artistic rendering of her based on witness reports looks exactly like the woman we saw. She's also known for being strict. She'll place guest bags at the door if they're too loud or messy. I never expected to see a ghost like this. Maybe shadows or screams, maybe an object moving, a translucent figure at most. Not someone who looked as real and living as I do. Solid in form, aware of herself, aware of us, and angry, as if she knew exactly what we were doing. If this truly was a ghost, she's the most powerful one I've ever heard of, never mind witnessed.
Woof.
So that's Theodora at the Eureka Springs Crescent Hotel.
Woof to Eureka Springs and Theodora.
Well, I'm not done. That's not even the last ghost at Eureka Springs. There's several more.
Jesus motherfucking Christ.
Cooks and kitchen workers have stories as well. One cook named Steve Garrison, who was adamant when he was interviewed, he was adamant about the fact that he does not drink or do drugs. Like, he wanted to make sure you knew, like, I'm a sober man.
Steve.
I've had several experiences, including seeing a little boy with thick bottle cap glasses dressed in an old-fashioned clothing skipping around the kitchen. Kind of cute.
Is it cute, though?
Yeah, a little bit.
Because if you just saw it in the kitchen, I don't... Alright.
I mean, it's not me who has to see this little boy with bottle cap glasses skipping around. And on another occasion, he flipped on all the lights to begin a day's work when almost all the pots and pans came flying off their hooks and clattered to the ground. Rough stuff. The little boy may have been a popular ghost who's often sighted on the second floor. His name is Brecky. And this is a real kid that died there. This is actually pretty sad. Clifton Brecky Breckenridge Thompson. He was the son of Richard Ryan Thompson, who was serving as the president of the Crescent College and Conservatory. So this is a recorded death technically at that time. It's just not one of
the college,
the students. Yeah. He was 4 years old when he died from complications of appendicitis in the building. He's been spotted several times playing with a ball, and children who stay at the Crescent Hotel have told their parents that they've played with a boy who lives at the hotel, and he's always described as having curly blonde hair and old-timey clothes.
Old-timey.
Yeah. So room 221 also has some weird activity. There was a couple who stayed there in the 90s. They had their experience there that was so weird and so creepy that now, like, they were staying there as we're going to the Springs, and now when they revisit Eureka Springs, they specifically take the ghost tours. Something they weren't ever really interested in before. It's just this experience creeped them out so much that they were like, now we're these people. So they arrived early. It was around 2 p.m. on an April afternoon, and they got their room key to room 221, and they took the elevator to the second floor. When the elevator door opened, there was a man standing there, seemingly waiting on them, dressed in all black Victorian-style outfit. The man asked if he could show the couple to their room, and they figured he was a hotel employee, so they were like, yeah, sure, we're in room 221. So he took the key from them and guided them to the room, unlocked the door, and pushed the door open. The man stood just outside the doorway, smiling and tilting his head side to side repeatedly. The wife of the couple turned to her husband to suggest giving the man a tip, and in the nanosecond it took them to turn back to the man to give him a tip, he was gone. He was not in the hallway. He was nowhere to be seen.
No. That can't be true. The tilting head man could not have just vanished.
I'm so mad about that, actually.
That's like one of the most upsetting things that you've said.
The story gets a little weirder, actually.
Ooh, how? All right, bring it.
I mean, thank God he's gone, because I can't handle him anymore. But they thought it was weird. They didn't think too much of it, though. They didn't think that they just had a ghost experience. They were just like, well, that guy was fucking weird.
Well, that guy fucking sucked. Yeah, like, he's a little bizarre. Why do you tilt his head and vanish? All right.
Yeah, they, put their clothes away, relaxed in their room until it was time for dinner, whatever. Afterwards, after dinner, after they had drinks, they went back to their room, only to find that their key wasn't unlocking their door. And this was the 90s, too, so it was a key. It wasn't a slidey key.
Okay.
So they went to the front desk, and after a couple minutes of, kind of figuring out what was going on, troubleshooting, the clerk apologized and told them he had given them the key to room 321 on accident when they checked in.
Oh.
And the couple was like, well, that's weird. The key worked for the employee who let us into the room this afternoon. And it was then that they described the man and what he was wearing. And the front desk had to tell them they didn't have an employee that fit that description and that no employees wear Victorian attire.
Some random ghost, just let them into their room.
So at least they're helpful. That could have been Perry. That could have been Mr. Perry.
Because he, actually really wanted to do his job.
He loved Eureka Springs, and he loved that hotel.
He was just, doing his job.
I don't know why he's got to tilt his head like that and smile like a fucking creep.
And then vanish. You bitch.
Another couple. Listen, I'm not kidding. When I say America's Most Haunted Hotel, I'm telling you, this one
you have proven it again and again. I can't believe how many stories there are, and I am sat, I am ready. Let's hear it.
I have one more scary story, and then I'll wrap up my Eureka Springs. Another couple had a creepy experience in the governor's suite. They had heard the hotel was notoriously haunted, so they were creeped out. They didn't want a haunted hotel. They just had heard the stories. They knew they gave a haunted hotel tour, and they were like, oh God, please, not us. So they were creeped out on their first night, but nothing happened. So they were like, phew, thank God. Okay, normal room maybe.
They're like, we made it. We did it.
Then, on their second night, When they were getting into bed, they folded the blanket and comforter up around the foot of the bed to sleep with just a sheet covering them. But the husband woke up in the middle of the night, drenched in sweat, and turned on the bedside lamp to find that the blanket and comforter were not only pulled up over them, but that someone had tightly tucked them in. So he woke up his wife. He was freaking out, and they were just like, well, I don't know. Maybe one of us did it in our sleep. Maybe one of us just pulled the blankets up in our sleep.
No, of course you fucking didn't.
So they untucked everything, folded it up at the bottom of the bed, went back to sleep, only for the exact same thing to happen 2 more times the same night.
That's the worst thing you've ever... I said that earlier, but it did get worse. So I take back my words. I said to something that Ashley said earlier, it was the worst thing I've ever heard, but that is it. I have like tears in my eyes that I'm wiping away because they are tears of fear. I'm covered in goose pimples.
Tears for fears.
Tears for fears.
Tears of fears.
If somebody tucks me...
What's worse, getting your blanket slowly pulled off of you or getting tucked in?
I know, because that happens in so many horror movies. And yeah, I'm like, obviously, I don't want them pulled off.
I hate both options.
For some reason. And maybe it's because it's been in so many horror movies where we see it that I'm just like, I'm numb to it now. I've seen it. If I woke up tightly tucked in, I think I would take my own life in that moment, which is crazy, but I'm like, I would be so scared.
Your brain would break.
Like, a demon is here. Or I would turn to Alex and be like, what the fuck you doing? And he would be like, I would never tuck you in. And I'd be like, right, so that means a ghost is here.
Fair.
I don't like being tucked in, and I don't want it to be done by an entity that I have not invited.
I'd be sleeping on top of the sheets.
Okay, but I feel like you'd still be tucked in somehow, because that feels like the strength of this. I don't know. Maybe we have to go to this hotel and try it, but also, I don't want to.
I kind of want to. Well, after that, during the rest of their stay, they said that items in their room would be in different positions when they would wake up in the morning.
Well, if you were tucked in, then absolutely they're going to move your toiletries, bitch.
They had chain locked their door at night, so they knew it wasn't like housekeeping or employees playing tricks. Like,
ew.
The chain was on the door, and they would wake up and things would be moved. So to finish off this story with what certainly seems to be one of America's most haunted hotels, we cannot forget about Morris. Since the late 90s, guests and employees have had encounters with a marmalade tabby cat wandering the hotel.
Oh, Morris! Okay, I love Morris.
His name was Morris.
He was a tabby.
He passed away in 1994. He was the hotel cat for years. He was often referred to as the general manager. When he passed away, over 50 people attended his funeral, and a painting of him was hung in the main lobby, and he is considered to be the newest spirit at the Crescent Hotel.
Okay, well, I do want to stay here now. I actually have changed my mind.
Morris the cat. Yeah.
For Morris. I want to go see the painting. I want to go for Morris.
Lots of guests will report seeing a cat loose in the hotel, and the employees have to be like, oh, that's Morris.
Good. I want no other experience than Morris. Okay, sorry.
I know. Over the years, many paranormal investigations and investigative teams have explored the hotels, including Ghost Hunters, BuzzFeed Unsolved, and Ghost Adventures, and the only one who has ever claimed anything demonic was happening was, you guessed it, Zach Baggins. Zach Baggins believes there is a demon at the Crescent
That's so
Hotel.
surprising, because he's never found a demon in any location, and that's just so off-brand for him.
And I just want to leave you with a tiny nugget because I enjoyed reading this. This is from a blog called I Love Eureka. It was written by a man named John Michael Scurio. After I had taken all my notes and was done researching this, I just sort of happened to open this last link that I hadn't really used. And I read it and I was like, oh, yeah, thanks, universe.
I love that.
So this is the small little paragraph from John. At the heart of Eureka Springs lies a geological marvel, an ancient network of quartz crystal deposits that energize the land with a unique vibrational frequency. Quartz crystals, known for their ability to amplify energy, create an atmosphere where the boundaries between the physical and the spiritual realms blur. The energy stored within these crystals transforms the very essence of Eureka Springs, turning it into a haven for spiritual seekers and those yearning for healing energies. Visitors to Eureka Springs often recount intuitive and transformative experiences. The air seems charged with a heightened spiritual awareness, guiding individuals towards synchronicities and a deeper connection with both self and nature. The thinning of the veil between the physical and spiritual realms becomes palpable, reinforcing the belief that Eureka Springs is more than a destination. It is a sacred space where profound spiritual encounters are not just possible, but inevitable.
I love that. I really love that.
So, listeners, if you've ever been to Eureka Springs, please write in to keepitweirdpodcast@gmail.com.
Tell us immediately.
Tell us your experience. Tell us how you loved it. I can't wait to visit.
But I also, like, you connected that so well to what we were talking about before, where it's like, it is the rocks, it is the stones, like, it is the energy.
I just couldn't believe that I'm literally editing your words talking about this, which also in that episode, last week's episode, you're talking about fucking the energy of rocks. And then my subject is ancient rocks that are haunted.
Right. And it's like, well, which is why we are connected.
I know. As I'm editing that episode, a friend from college, Stacy, texted me, asked me if I've been to Eureka Springs because she's there.
And it has the most haunted fucking rocks. If any rocks are haunted, it is Eureka Springs, and I have learned that this evening. Arkansas!
Do you have one more story for us before we go?
I do.
Yay!
Which is so funny because, like, based on the subject material so far tonight, this couldn't be more different. But honestly, let's end it on a unique.
But I love listener ghost stories episodes that have, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little ghost, a little alien, a little
something that throws us off. I know. So I was like, we're going to wind it down with something totally different, ladies and gentlemen.
Hell yeah, dude.
This is from listener Taylor.
Hey, Taylor.
Hey, Taylor. What's up? Taylor, thank you for writing in. Taylor says, hey, weirdos. I've been listening to your show for years, and I've always wondered if I would ever have a story worth sending in. Turns out I did, in my own way. It just took a decade and a murder trial to realize it. This happened in 2011. I was 19 and I was home for the summer from college. I worked late shifts at this little gas station on the outskirts of Athens, Georgia. It is not the nicest part of town, but nothing ever really happened out there. It was totally quiet, safe, happy, empty, whatever. Cool. But it got weirdly empty after 10 p.m. every night. I hated working the late shift because it was so weirdly empty and quiet. And it really got a little boring at the same time. So there was one night I was just about to close up when there was a man who pulled up, and he was in a very faded green pickup truck. It was one of those trucks with rust creeping out of every side, and the front bumper looked like it had been halfway torn off and probably duct taped back on.
Okay.
Duct taped back on.
Rough truck. Got it.
Rough truck. The guy who got out looked normal, but I can only describe it as aggressively normal. He was probably mid-40s, faded jeans, plaid shirt, tucked in very neatly. His hair was combed like he was trying really hard to look put together. But something about him still felt off, no matter how neatly put together he was. It was like someone doing a bad impression of a regular guy, quote unquote. Which I loved. I was like, I so know what you mean. He came in and asked if I knew how to get to the ridge. I assumed he meant a road up past some backcountry property, a place where some of the locals would hunt and fish. But I started to describe what I was saying, and he was disagreeing. And he said it once again, no, it's the ridge. And something about it was so strange. The way he was saying the ridge. It was like a place you would either know or you didn't know. You had to be on the inside. So then I told him I was not sure. My shift...
Guess not.
I know. Sorry about it. I told him I was not sure. My shift was about to end. Like, I can't help you out, dude. So he said, okay, no problem. And he smiled, bought a bottle of water. And as I was handing him his change, he said very calmly, you know, you don't need to be out here so late. Not with the things that come through here. And I laughed awkwardly and said something like, yeah, tell my manager. But inside, I felt my stomach completely drop. I was the most terrified I have ever been. There was something in the way he said it, the way he looked, everything about what we had been talking about and seeing the truck.
Unsettled.
I am not joking. Like, it was the most scared I've ever been. Yes, an unsettled feeling. And it's strange because he was not threatening, and it didn't feel like what he was saying was in a joking manner. It was just factual, but he still just felt off. So he left. I watched him drive off towards the woods instead of back towards the main road, which was interesting. But I just went home and I told my roommate the story. It was like, I'm a little shaken up, but it was really just a weird encounter. And we even joked that he was probably a guy from a cult, or like he was a ghost hunter or something, but it was just sort of like, haha. Fast forward 3 years. I'm watching the news, and in the background, I see a photo of a man who has been arrested in connection with the murders of 3 women that we know. Women who had gone missing around Georgia and Alabama between 2011 and 2014.
No.
It was 1000% the guy I had seen at the gas station. It was the same truck, the same tucked in shirt, the same empty eyes that I did not know what to do with. It was like a punch to the gut, even 3 years later. I just stood there holding a measuring cup of heavy cream because I was cooking while watching the news. I was dripping everywhere and my jaw was on the floor. It felt like the air was sucked out of the kitchen.
Yeah.
I never reported my encounter because back then there wasn't a crime to even connect it to. I didn't even know what I would have said. Hey, a man gave me weird vibes at a gas station. But I looked up the timeline later and I realized that at least one of the murders most likely happened within a week of my run-in with him.
Yikes.
And the body was found less than 5 miles away from where I worked. And I will forever wonder if it happened that night when he was being so strange to me. And I will forever wonder. Did he come in that night? Was he looking for a victim? Was he looking for a location to leave a body? What is the ridge? Was he looking for a remote spot to meet up with someone? My mind spirals on, but either way, I never worked a night shift again, and now when someone gives me a bad vibe, I listen to it. Trust your gut, stay safe, and keep it weird. I love you, girls. From Taylor.
Taylor, I'm going to need the first name, middle initial, and last name of this gentleman so I can look up his dead eyes.
I know. Thank you, Taylor, from Georgia.
Thank you, Taylor.
From Athens, Georgia. She was going to give us some more information, but even I did some research and it was like serial killers or just even like murderers in Georgia and Alabama. And unfortunately, there were a lot. So it was really hard to narrow it down. But we're going to figure it out.
Well, thank you everyone for sending in your stories, including special shout out to Stacy for giving me my entire topic this week.
Truly amazing, Stacy. Like, good job.
But that is all the time we have this week for Keep It Weird. Thank you all so much for listening. As usual, we hope you get through this hot, hot, hot summer unscathed.
hot summer.
No sunburn and very few mosquito bites. We also hope to be back very, very soon. Again, follow us on social media at Keep It Weirdcast and join our Patreon at patreon.com/keepitweirdpodcast. Not only does it support the show, but I will be keeping you guys updated on our return date once we know when that is. And I've got some bonus stuff to post on there, some extra bonus stuff next month. So, shall we spin the wheel? Do you want to spin the wheel?
Let's spin the wheel.
Am I still logged in? I bet I'm not. Am I still logged in? Oh, I am.
Oh!
Hey.
Thank you, Jesus.
The gods are on our side, spinning the wheel to let fate decide how we're going to end this episode. It's bibliomancy again.
Oh my
You know what? I was hoping for bibliomancy because here's the thing.
Oh, okay.
Well, because last week we were like, should we ask about the rocks in the earth or should we ask about Annabelle? And we asked about Annabelle and it gave us the dumbest fucking answer we've ever heard. So what if we actually asked about
it did
the rocks in the earth and the sun and the
because
crystals.
Now we have 2 episodes connecting. But also the reason I giggled so much was because, again, my sweet husband Alex, who doesn't believe in anything, was very upset that the man who handled Annabelle died. Which I know you will laugh at because you know him. And he was like,
what do you mean?
Did you hear about that guy? And I was like, yeah,
I gotta give a shout out to all our listeners too. Listeners, family, friends. The amount of people that sent me the story of the guy who handled Annabelle getting killed is crazy.
It's people who know us so well,
and I appreciate you.
I have never been texted some. I know, I was like, thank you for knowing me, but it was just so like he was like tucked into bed. It was right before we went to bed, and he was like, did you hear about the guy? I was like, it's gonna be all right, honey. You've never touched Anna.
You've never even been anywhere near her.
Oh, that's sweet, man.
But who knows? She's on the loose. So
I know.
Is there a way we can make the question more direct, or
I know.
Maybe we could ask to give us, so we know like the rocks store the energy, and we know that like the sun, maybe it's a combination of the sun of the rays of the sun energizing the rocks, and they act as a battery and
I don't know a right way to word it. I'm just like,
let's just ask if there's a connection. Let's just ask if there's a connection or if we're totally off base.
Is there a connection to the rocks and like the paranormal supernatural world?
Would you like to pick a page?
I feel like you should this time, because I picked it last time and it sucked.
Okay. I'm just gonna do one of these.
Yeah, I was gonna say do
really
a little like
kind of like see where we land. Okay. Just more fucking madness.
Okay. There's a lot to say.
All right, page 46. You and I can always starve together if we're backstage in the here and now. If we're not in the here and now, no matter how much food we put in our bellies, it's never going to be enough. And that's the feeling of Western man. It's not enough. He's got it all going in as fast as he can shovel it. He's got every sensual gratification he can possibly desire, and it's not enough because there is no here and nowness about it. Here and now is the doorway to all that energy. Because if you're truthfully here and now, there's no more you. That's the way it works. Did you ever go to the movies and get so caught up in the movie you forgot who you were, and then the lights came on and you wondered, where am I? What's going on? Oh, it's a movie. What you've got to do is create in yourself an absolutely calm center where it's always right here and now. It's just light. It is just isness. Just the isness.
Just the isness.
Then there's a lot of different scenarios. There's like a man sitting on the toilet and a man doing talking and doing all these things.
I mean, of course.
But I find that interesting. That really big right here. Here and now is the doorway to all that energy. And then, if you remember last week when we talked about finding that brainwave that is conducive to connecting to the energy.
Right.
The alpha brainwaves.
Like within yourself.
So, well, you know what? I don't think it provided us any more information, but
it didn't give us anything new. It didn't confirm about our stones, our old rock, but it also enforces that, like,
it's inside you. You are the experiencer.
You have to connect. You also have to connect to the rocks, even if the rocks do have energy.
Well, and I also think it has something to do with, and this is something Greg and Dana always talk about, how it's not happening in a vacuum. These strange experiences aren't happening when you're not there, when they're not being observed.
Right.
And the observer is part of that interaction. And when that it never hurts their feelings when people say it's all in your head, because they're like, it actually might be.
Sort of, yeah.
But that doesn't mean it's not occurring, that it's not real, and that something isn't projecting an image into my head.
This didn't appear in my head for no reason. So yeah.
Interesting. So maybe it's a combo. It takes our consciousness plus the sun and the rocks.
Get some limestone, some sun, and your weird ass brain.
And we're cooking.
We're cooking.
All right, guys. Well, we'll see you soon. Send me all your good vibes, please.
All the good vibes for Ashley and her health.
And as usual,
keep it weird.